Congressman, as we know, we are remembering today the 1984 attack on the Sikh holiest shrine by the Indian government. And you mentioned Indian government also pushed back against the caucus. As we stand in America, why do you think it's important to remember those?
Well, anytime you see a situation where people are treated poorly or unfairly or genocide in this situation, I think it's important for the world to recognize it and acknowledge it so that we don't continue to repeat those types of horrendous activities.
ਸੋ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਾਸ਼ਿੰਗਟਨ ਡੀਸੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਆਰ ਹੇਅਰ ਇਨ ਵਾਸ਼ਿੰਗਟਨ ਡੀਸੀ ਵਿਦ ਕਾਂਗਰਸਮੈਨ ਡੇਵਿਡ ਵਾਲਾਡੇਓ he represents Bakersfield and nearby areas. So, Congressman, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
Uh, you are the co-chair of Sikh Congressional Caucus. So what were the challenges to establish that?
I did get a little bit of pushback at one point from some folks within the community from the Indian government, but ever since we founded it and we were able to advocate for a few items to get across the line, it's been pretty well received and I think a pretty good and successful caucus. One of the things we're able to get was any sort of hate crimes against the Sikh community listed as an actual hate crime with the FBI. We're able to help with the ability for people to practice their faith and serve in the armed forces. And we have also continued to be a strong advocate to continue to get the message out of some of the issues the Sikh community deals with. And we've been very proud of that.
Congressman, as we know, we are remembering today the 1984 attack on the Sikh holiest shrine by the Indian government. And you mentioned Indian government also pushed back against the caucus. As we stand in America, why do you think it's important to remember those?
Well, anytime you see a situation where people are treated poorly or unfairly or genocide in this situation, I think it's important for the world to recognize it and acknowledge it so that we don't continue to repeat those types of horrendous activities.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that any person who, foreign, especially foreign governments or otherwise, whoever tries to limit speech, the free speech of the Americans, especially as we talk here about Sikh Americans, how do you see that? As we know, a lot of Indian government officials, Indian government try to silence the Sikh voice.
Well, I think it's always important for us to give people a voice to be able to speak to what they're dealing with, and obviously, I don't support any sort of uh, I don't support any person ever holding someone back from being able to tell their story of what they're dealing with in their own community or in their own lives.
How do you see U.S. and the Sikh Americans go ahead?
Well, the Sikh community plays a huge role in our economy. They play a huge role in our communities. They bring culture, they bring employment, they bring jobs, they bring a lot of things, and they're what we are as Americans, what we want to see in the American dream. People who immigrate to this country and who are productive citizens who add to our community and add to our society and continue to make the United States the great country that we are. And so we want to continue to support that and support the culture and support the immigration of people who want to be productive members of our society and continue to make our country great.
Thank you, David Vallejo. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your time.
Anytime. Thank you.